You're obviously a clinical psychologist, and so I first want to ask, how did you even get into the field of psychology? What made you want to do what it is that you're doing today?
I think perhaps I come from the generation that when the revolution happened, I was 13, 14 years old living in Iran. And I think a good majority of people in my generation ended up in the service business, whether they migrated to the United States or even stayed in Iran. So it's very usual for my generation to be active in the field of healthcare, mental health care. And I'm just one of many that's doing this in Los Angeles. Uh, but for the majority of my career life, I've been an academician more than a practitioner.
Mhm.
I teach and I research at the university, and that's been a place that I have been able to do my service better than on one-on-one group setting or group settings. But the project that we have at hand is one that has gotten me into more of a practice than just preaching and theory. So maybe it was time for me to come out of from behind the books, and I needed something strong as this to pull me out of the book world and into the practitioner side of the mental health.
Well, I'm sure that I'm not the only individual that is very grateful that you decided to come out from behind the curtain and be center stage and do what you're doing alongside your army of incredible women. But before we even get to what you're doing currently, let's kind of take a step back and go to 2011. And you started an organization called the Persian Women's American Conference. And I want to make sure that we do justice to what the history is behind it, the mission and the vision. So I would rather give you the virtual stage to kind of share with our audience what is PAWC, please.
PWC started about close to 10 years ago, and we were doing conferences in UCLA as in the post and in the role that I had as an academician. Uh, then we started doing some conferences that were only related to Iranian women. And the first one happened in 2011, 2012. And the group of women that got together to do this were from various parts of the country. They were not only in California or in Los Angeles, some came from New York, some came from Washington. And we decided to continue with this, and Persian American Women Conferences was born. This is a non-profit organization and has one simple mission, is to inspire, to empower, and to provide unconditional support for women. And there are many other wonderful, incredible Iranian women organizations globally, and many have different missions. Ours is not one of networking. Ours is not one of creating relationships or promoting. Ours is one of unconditional support. Ours is one of empowering and inspiring. So the conferences are generally attended anywhere between 5 to 700 people attend their yearly conferences, and we've been incredibly lucky that women from other walks of life, not just the Iranian descended successful women, but other women in the community, in the global community, have joined our conferences and validated the platform that we have.
What would you say was the catalyst? What was the turning point that you said to yourself, you know what, there's really a need for this, and I want to go ahead and grab the influential individuals around me, the passionate people around me that are like minded, have the same mission that I have, and I want to bring us together and lead us to the promised land?
Well, I don't know about the promised land. We all want to go there, but you're giving me a lot of credit. I don't know about that leadership quality, but I know that the first time that we had the conference, what came out of it was tremendous amount of honest emotion and energy, all trapped in the big auditorium of UCLA. And we realized, oh my God, there's so much raw passion here that you cannot just let go of it. This was not an incident. This was not an accident. And we got together and decided to continue this on a yearly basis. The second year, we thought, okay, you know what? We were lucky the first year. The second year, we may not be able to deliver what they're looking for, but we became lucky year after year after year, and we realized that there's a need. Actually, what happened is that we did not address the need. I think the need created us.
Hmm.
The need seeked us. That's why I think we became successful, because the need was there. And I'm going to be honest with you, I fell into it. I didn't have the vision to understand. I was so well hidden in the academic world that I never separated what I was doing due to gender or cultural differentiations. Everyone and everything was the same. But once this came through and the voice of the Iranian women was heard much louder, I think the need created us. To be honest with you, I didn't know there was such a great need out there and will be so welcomed. So
I absolutely love that when you say that the need really created us. And ironically, it's really, it's my, what is it called? My, it was actually like, I mean, what you all have been doing with Iranian refugees has influenced why I am here right now. So essentially, what has happened is kind of creating the need for me to want to have these conversations and have the pleasure of speaking to you. And so now that we're transitioning to the plight of so many Iranian refugees around the world, and specifically in Greece and Turkey, can you please take me to the first time that you realize that there is a need to support our countrymen and countrywomen, and there's this unreal, unbelievable, unfathomable situation that is surrounding our countrymen and women and children. Can you take me back to when you were first introduced to this situation?
Sure. Just like the subject that we addressed before, just like the conferences. In one of the conferences, one of our lovely guests was Princess Yasmine Pahlavi. As you know, she's an incredibly accomplished woman. She is a practicing lawyer for many years. She's been addressing the outcry of women and children in need in the area of Washington, D.C. So she's very well known for what she's doing and has been doing for a long time. We invited her as a guest and as an intellectual Iranian-descended Iranian-American woman to be part of our conference. And the chemistry between her and the remaining of the leadership in the PAWC continued even after when the conference was finished. So she would visit us yearly in our other conferences. And it was 2019 that I got a call from her and she said, Mojgan, this situation is happening with the refugees in Greece and I'm going to visit them. Would you like to come with me as a psychologist, as a clinician, not just as a friend? And it was her that introduced and opened the door. And again, the need created what you're going to get to know in a few minutes, which is called Mental Health Beyond Borders, which is a division of PAWC. It was the need to address and to help these refugees in Greece, in Lesbos, Athens, in Turkey, and in other areas. That when I came back to Los Angeles after spending the time with Princess Yasmine in Greece, we came back here and we talked hours on the phone, besides crying and feeling desperate, feeling depressed, not knowing what to do. After you pull yourself up with your bootstraps and you say, okay, I've got to do something. So contacted professionals, women, clinicians, and you would not believe, Iman John, with every phone call, the answer was, of course, Mojgan, what do you want me to do? All of these women that you're going to meet shortly on a video clip that we created from there, were there, have been there for the year and a half, side by side of these refugees. They have donated their time, they have donated their expertise, and many often, in many situations, often donated financially to make sure that everything goes according to schedule and people on the other side of the shore are not in need. So they're dedicated women, and I was lucky to fall into that team with them and be able to address some of the painful cases that we saw when we visited Greece with Princess Yasmine.
I can only imagine how painful it was in person because at this point, I've watched the incredible documentary that I want to give a shout out to Iran International and Ms. Khamenei who created this documentary.
Incredible.
I mean, it's like I literally watched it again a couple nights ago and I had tears coming down my cheek because I still don't want to believe that our cousins, essentially, our brothers and sisters are going through this. Awesome, people. I appreciate you watching this segment. To watch the full video, which you should, please click up here. And then if you want to join our text community, the number is right about here. And even though you don't need no reminders and you've heard it a billion times, if you like the video, subscribe, hit the little ring of ding-a-ding-ding bell so you can be notified for our next video. Thank you so much and appreciate you watching. Awesome people.